The first TEDx talk I listened to was back in 2016. I was a freshman at university sitting in an English class. I don't remember the exact content of that talk, unfortunately. It was quite a while ago. But what I do remember is how that talk and the other TEDx talks I've listened to since then made me feel. There was something about these talks that really connected with me. I like how they included stories of other people and how those stories contained important messages and ideas that were worth spreading. I like how those stories made me feel so inspired and hopeful. For someone with a pretty short attention span, I have to scroll through Instagram every 10 minutes just to get through a lecture, which I'm not proud of and I'm working on, but I could listen to an entire TEDx talk without being distracted. I just was so captivated by the speakers. And it was at that point I knew that I was falling in love with the TED community. I also happened to have this crazy thought of how it would feel like if I could stand on a TEDx platform one day and deliver my ideas to an audience, hopefully inspiring them, just like the way I felt. I thought it was a pretty far-fetched idea, though, because, well, for starters, I'm dead scared of public speaking. But anyway, what I want to talk about with you today is why am I here on a platform doing something I'm so afraid of, when I could easily be at home on a couch eating donuts, which is my ultimate comfort zone. Why am I trying so hard to push myself out of my comfort zone and into this territory that I like, but that I'm also uncomfortable with? We like our comfort zones because they make us feel comfortable, safe, and they're easy. We know our way around, so there's really nothing much to be afraid of. But the thing with comfort zones is that they tend to confine you to this small space out of which you don't want to leave, you don't want to test yourself, you don't want to challenge yourself, you don't want to put yourself out there into a new environment that you have no idea how it will turn out. But you want to do it, but you're just afraid. And it's very hard to grow as a person when you are confined to such a comfortable space. Well, if moving out of your comfort zone is really so good for your personal development, then why are we reluctant to do it? And that is because we are afraid. Moving out of your comfort zone can be scary. Imagine yourself, wanting to do that for a small business, taking a small business initiative, or maybe trying out a new sport or even a new skill like public speaking. They're scary. It's a new environment, and it's likely that you could feel uncomfortable. But I'm here to tell you that even with that fear, the discomfort, and the dread, pushing yourself out there, out of your comfort zone, and doing something you love, even if you're so afraid of it, is probably one of the best things you can do to yourself. In fact, looking back at yourself having moved out of your comfort zone might make you feel so grateful for the rest of your life. So today, I want to share with you 3 tips that I hope will help you move out of your comfort zone and discover new things about yourself and grow. So around the time when I had discovered that I really liked the TED community, I also met with this new opportunity, which was so timely and perfect. There I was sitting on a netball court, scrolling through my email, and then I come across this one email, which was recruiting university students to be part of an organizing team for a TEDx event. And I was just so happy because, I had just come into terms with how much I was passionate about this initiative, and I was so happy, and I had to apply to be part of this, right? But my inner voice just started ranting about how this opportunity was just so out of my comfort zone, which it was, because I had never organized an event of such a large scale, and I did not know how these TEDx events worked. So I was filled with fear and doubt. I wanted to make the move, but it was just too big of a move out of my comfort zone. But luckily for me that day, I happened to be a little bit bolder than the fears that were holding me back. Maybe it was the dopamine rush after a netball game, I don't know. But I actually ended up applying. So that brings me to tip 1 of moving out of your comfort zone. make a move. Make a move, even a tiny little move that would help you get closer to what you want to do. And it has to be you who takes that initiative, and no one else can do that for you. And yeah, it is scary. It is probably the scariest part of it all, making that first move. But when you are afraid, tell yourself to be bolder than that fear holding you back, and then just go ahead and make that move. So fast forward 3 months after I applied, I got to know I was in the organizing team. And my experience with this TEDx event was just so wholesome. I met some amazing people who are some of my closest friends now, and I learned so much. And of course, I got to listen to some amazing speakers and their stories, which I loved so much. There were also these challenges, which at the time, I didn't think I could do some of them, but with the help of my teammates and some effort on my end, I was actually able to do it. And I surprised myself. I had grown so much and just discovered new things about myself, which I wouldn't have done if I hadn't taken this opportunity. And I wouldn't have done that in the first place if I hadn't made that first move. So convince yourself to be brave and make that first move. I always keep thinking about why we are afraid to move out of our comfort zone. What is holding us back? What is the basis of that fear? And I think that is a fear of failure. We are afraid to move out of our comfort zone because we are afraid to fail. And there's just so much negative connotation with failure. You know, we think of it as an embarrassment. I mean, when was the last time you spoke openly of your failures over your successes? As much as it's important to learn what to do, you also need to learn what not to do. And that is exactly what failure can teach you. So I play netball, and when I was a freshman, I wanted to join the university netball team. So I applied for the tryouts, and then on the day of the tryouts, I realized that I was so nervous. I was really way more nervous than how I am before games. And my nerves got to me so much that day that I couldn't even perform, to the level I wanted to. So my job in a netball team is a shooter. So I am responsible for making goals. I put the ball through the hoop. But on this day, I couldn't even make a single goal. My nerves had really affected me so much. And I was really disappointed in myself. But even though I felt upset, my epic failure that day taught me something. It taught me what not to do. It taught me that I could not let my nerves get to me so much. I had to manage it. So the next year, when I tried out again, because obviously I didn't make it to the team the last time, I told myself, okay, you're going to manage your nerves. So what I did was, 30 minutes before the game, I sat on a bench, and then I listened to music. But not just any music, Bollywood music. So I have this way with Bollywood music. You could be speaking to me while I listen to Bollywood songs, but I would not be listening to you. I would be picturing myself dancing. So it was a great distraction, and I felt calm, just calm enough to perform. And I personally think I did a pretty good job during those tryouts. And I did make it to the team afterwards, but I was just so glad. Most importantly, I was just glad I had viewed my failure as a learning tool and not as an embarrassment. So my tip 2 to you would be to change your mindset about looking at failure as an embarrassment, but rather look at what you can learn from it. Don't be afraid of your failure. The moment you stop being afraid of your failures, it's going to be easy for you to move out of your comfort zone because you don't have nothing to lose. You're not afraid to fail. So embrace your failures and see what it can teach you. Getting out of your comfort zone is really not, I think it's not something you can do overnight. It's important to take small steps towards it. For example, if you want to be a pop singer, at a concert for a large audience, your small steps could be taking up smaller gigs at open mic nights or school talent shows to smaller audiences. So tip 3 of moving out of your comfort zone would be to break your main goal into smaller chunks and approach it in a small step-by-step manner. And by doing that, you can essentially make your journey out of your comfort zone a little less overwhelming. Because if you were to dive headfirst into that main big goal, it can be so overwhelming that you might give up easily. I confessed earlier about how I am so afraid of public speaking, but luckily for me, before coming here today, I was also able to take up a few small-scale speaking challenges. So at school and university, I could do some poster presentations and PowerPoint presentations to smaller crowds. And I think that made this experience a little less overwhelming to me, but nevertheless, I have not done something like this before in such an event, so I think I'm definitely going to treat myself to those donuts I mentioned before when I go back home. So if I had one goal today, it would be to leave my audience inspired. To give you one take-home message, don't ever, ever let fear get in the way of doing something you love, because it could become something so, so great and meaningful to you. Getting out of your comfort zone it's scary. It's so scary, but once you do it, you're going to feel so good and so proud of yourself. You can also use moving out of your comfort zone as a way to learn new things about yourself and maybe become more confident and be appreciative of who you are. Remember, the biggest pity is to not fail at trying something new, but the biggest pity is to not even give yourself the chance to try something new in the first place. Moving out of your comfort zone can help you become a better version of yourself. So would you want to stand in the way of something as great as that? Thank you.